Every movie has random trivia. And here at Trivial Theater, I explore some of these movies and the random circumstances that make them the weird creations that we love. Whoa, I'm finally back. Dude, I've been lost in space and time for like a solid week now. I've even seen the super distant future of the late 90s, and from that time, I bring you the absolute gem that is Turbokid. After seeing a skull with surprisingly good teeth, we're introduced to an orphaned teen known only as the Kid, who ekes out a living as a scavenger in the distant year of 1997. He barters with a dubious dealer who offers him less than fair market value for his items. Sounds like the start of another saga set in a galaxy far, far away. He's all by himself, but he does pretty well considering, unless he's trying to figure out a Rubik's Cube. The Kid has a deep, abiding love for Turbo Rider, a comic book hero whose path he seeks to follow. He goes out scavenging when he runs across an overly peppy girl named Apple. He accidentally knocks himself out, and we learn a little bit more about the Kid's backstory. When he comes to, Apple offers him a bowl of Soleil Vert cereal. This translates as Soylent Green. Google it, kiddies. In the meantime, an English professor dressing, metal mask wearing, evil guy named Zeus lords over the land, controlling the limited supply of water, holding terrifying gladiatorial games, and generally being a total tool. We then get an incredibly interesting take on an interrogation device, which also provides a deep cleansing facial. The Kid takes Apple out scavenging, explaining the rules of survival as they go. One big need is protection, which leads to my choice for defensive weapon should the end of the world ever come a-knockin'. You can keep your guns and swords. For sheer badassery, I'm sticking with this.
This is my now stick! Ah!
Apple is kidnapped by a dude on a tiny bike. And when the Kid finds his corpse, we learn that Turbo Rider wasn't just a comic. After a suit-up sequence that rivals Marvel for sheer awesomeness, he rushes to save his friend at the pool party, using a power glove type weapon that basically disintegrates anything in its path when it's not charging. Apple is discovered to be a robot when she's damaged in the fight to escape. If a new body isn't found, she'll shut down for good. Luckily, the distant robot graveyard has what they need, if they can get there. Struggling, they finally do make it, but duct taping Apple's head to a stylishly dressed body isn't enough to save her. The Kid then passes out from dangerous radiation levels, and back with Zeus, we're formally told that he's the chief supplier of water, which is an incredibly precious resource in this world, but he's kind of artificially inflating the market by grinding up people to make his own. I'm not even sure what to say to that. I got no comments. After an arm wrestling cowboy named Frederick saves the Kid, they journey to finish off Zeus and his tiny bike riding minions, including Skeletron, a dude that keeps it fashion forward with a low slung G-string and this multi-purpose blade shooting arm. A climactic battle ensues, making me wonder what the fake blood budget was for this movie. Cause damn, it should have been called Turbo Kid Blood Rain. The level of comedic gore is amazing, and two of the best kills, in a movie of amazing kills, come in the last 20 minutes. The best by far is done by the reactivated Apple, using a unicorn head strapped to a bike to impale somebody. A close second is the explosive death of this variation on a human centipede. Everything appears to end happy until Zeus does the whole one last stand thing and reveals himself to be a robot, complete with mouth lasers. Turbo Kid blows Zeus back to pre-apocalyptic times as Apple sacrifices herself to protect him from the blast. In an ending that is genuinely bittersweet, he rides off into the sunset looking for adventures in the Borderlands. We're greeted with credits that thank the Turbo Kid cast and crew for being awesome, which is pretty great in my book. It's also revealed that 8 people were needed for blood, makeup, and props. That sounds about right. So Turbo Kid is a 2015 co-production of Canada and New Zealand, whose story is an interesting mix of ideas. You've got a take on Zombieland's semi-nerdy hero with his very strict set of survival rules, mixed with the general setting and gore of Mad Max. All this is layered within a fascinating variation on a comic book origin tale. The movie itself was based off a short film called T for Turbo, and according to IMDb, a sequel was announced in 2016. There are a lot of really good takeaways from Turbo Kid to help you survive in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Apparently, if you blow up someone with an umbrella, you can use that same umbrella to protect yourself from the inevitable blood downpour. Guts make really good emergency bike tires. Heads on pikes can serve as both a warning and as a fancy lawn ornament. Most importantly, the second you stop surrounding yourself with flamingos, shit just goes south. I really admire Apple. Despite being shot and decapitated, she still returns to protect her boo. Now that's a good friend. At one point, Apple offers to teach Turbo Kid how to fight, and quotes the mantra, "Strike first, strike hard, show no mercy," which is the credo of the Cobra Kai from the 1984 movie Karate Kid. This is just one example of the 80s vibe that runs all through this movie, from clothing to the incredible soundtrack. Turbo Kid is clearly a low-budget movie, but they made really good use of what they had, and for the most part, things felt like they belonged. Especially the skulls, of which there were a shit ton. When I first saw the title, I assumed a weird inspirational tale of a teen who becomes a superhero through insert random circumstances here. That assumption kinda went out the window when a prisoner's head was smashed in by a concrete block sledgehammer. Turbo Kid surprised me in the best way possible. Most everything I expected was blown out of the water. The absolute weirdness, gore, and gloriously out-of-nowhere nature of this one makes it a complete joy of a movie. This stands as one of my new good bad faves, and it's one I plan to revisit often. Special thanks to a great friend of the channel, the I Understood That Reference podcast, for this recommendation. Ross and Rob put out a fantastic show on movies, comics, and all forms of entertainment. You'll find their link in the description below. So what do you think? Suggestions for movies, trivial questions, comments, ratings, and an understanding as to how so many flamingo lawn ornaments could survive the apocalypse would be appreciated. Thank you so very much for watching.